Oil up on new U.S. sanctions on Iran, as Biden's Saudi prince meet Looms. Oil prices rose strongly for the primary time in per week after the United States introduced new sanctions on Iranian oil, ahead of President Joe Biden's tentative visit to the Middle East to meet with Gulf leaders, together with Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, who's an arch-rival of Iran's mullahs. New York traded West Texas Intermediate, the benchmark for U.S. crude, settled up $2.27, or 2%, at $117.58 consistent with barrel. It had tumbled to as low as $112.33 earlier, responding to the largest U.S. interest charge hike in 28 years through the Federal Reserve a day earlier. London traded Brent crude, the worldwide oil benchmark, settled up $1.30, or 1.1%, at $119.81, after sinking to $115.59 earlier. Thursday's sanctions in opposition to Tehran constructed on past sanctions in opposition to Triliance Petrochemical County Limited, which was sanctioned in 2020, and Petrochemical Commercial Company, which turned into sanctioned in 2018. According to the Treasury Department, these entities are instrumental in brokering the sale of Iranian petrochemicals abroad. The move in opposition to the network of Iranian petrochemical producers, and agencies in China and the United Arab Emirates fronting for them, came as negotiations headed to nowhere among Tehran and global powers to revive a deal that goals to limit Iran's nuclear goals for the threat of letting it resume its petroleum exports without U.S. sanctions. The United States is pursuing the route of meaningful diplomacy to reap a mutual go-back to compliance with the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action. Absent a deal, we can continue to use our sanctions authorities to restrict exports of petroleum merchandise, and petrochemical products from Iran, Brian Nelson, U.S. Treasury Undersecretary for Terrorism and Financial Intelligence, stated in a press launch. Missing turned into, of direction, the political timing of the whole lot, which came just weeks ahead of Biden's tentative Gulf visit and meeting with the Saudi Crown Prince, Saudi Arabia's king-in-waiting, normally noted by using his initials as MBS. Just a couple of weeks in the past, Biden had performed down the prospects of an assembly with MBS. During his 2020 campaign for the White House, the president had pledged to make Saudi Arabia a pariah, for the obvious function performed by using the Dominion and its crown prince within the 2018 murder of Saudi-turned-U.S. resident Jamal Khashoggi. A columnist with The Washington Post, Khashoggi were essential of MBS. Biden kept up together with his stance against the Saudis and the Crown Prince for nearly 18 months after coming to office in January 2021. But document U.S. gasoline charges this 12 months due to an international squeeze in oil supplies and falling reputation among potential voters ahead of the U.S. midterm elections in November appears to have softened the president's resolve. MBS wishes unequivocal U.S. assist for Saudi Arabia in the Yemen conflict and for Biden to deal with Gulf issues about Iran's missile program and its regional proxies. The White House earlier this month praised MBS for helping secure an extension of a UN-brokered truce between Yemen's warring parties. Biden, in Go Back, simply wishes more oil from OPEC, the 13-nation organization of the petroleum exporting countries led by Saudi Arabia. A mere nod from MBS would permit his kingdom, which correctly controls OPEC and its 10 oil-generating allies, which includes Russia, to open their oil spigots a touch more, supplying some alleviation to American clients struggling from gasoline expenses at record highs of $5 a gallon or extra. A senior U.S. respectable advised earlier this week that if Biden determines it is in his interest to interact with any particular chief, and if such an engagement can supply consequences, then he will do so.